Yeah, I can agree. I feel I could see you
Yeah.
kind of doing it because I remember I seen a video of yours and it was you doing the long Christmas nail. And I
Yeah.
thought it
The
was so
candy cane.
cool. Yeah, the candy canes. We were trying to
Yeah.
trying to put all the, candy canes on this one nail. So I thought that was really, really cool. I
Yeah. Yeah.
wanted to ask pertaining to the beauty industry, like is there a difference, like since you live in Canada, is there a difference between like the beauty industry between like the US and Canada? Or is there like a little bit of similarities? Like how could you describe the beauty industry in Canada?
So if you're talking about how to get into the industry or how to maintain or how to operate, that can be very different. But as far as the nail technicians and the quality of the nail technicians, it's basically the same. I can find just as many. There's a lot of nail technicians. We have very talented nail technicians in Canada, and no different than we have very talented nail technicians in the US. And I can't really say one's better than the other. And they all basically know the same, secret, you might say, to building that very sophisticated, beautiful, strong nail. So I don't think the knowledge of how to make nails is any different. Although let's put Europe aside, that they make those nails over there. That's a
Right.
whole different category. But just salon nail for the customer that we build for that strength and put them through cleaning around the bathroom sink and putting their kid in and out of the seat buckles. Those kinds of everyday salon nails that we build for clients, I think we're pretty fairly the same on the talent that we are just oozing out of North America. We have a lot of great talented artists. But how one can get there might be a different path. Because they have to go through some licensing in some areas and not in others. And the more I'm learning about it is a lot of American states, they have to go through licensing and pass their state board, which is fine. I have nothing against that. But they don't necessarily teach nails. They teach what they're really passing the state board. I'm learning more and more about this, that they're passing more of a sanitation, which of course we all need to have, but they're signing up for these courses thinking they're becoming a nail tech, and they find out that they're just getting a certificate that they've just passed the state board, but they still don't know how to do nails. They walk out of their course going, yeah, but I just paid and did this in the time and the hours, and that's great, I passed it, but I still don't know how to do nails.
Right.
Whereas in Canada, we only have licensing in, I think it's 2 or 3 provinces, but most of us, you have to earn it via the client, not a government certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was something we were talking about earlier. Now, all along in my career, I talk about this for a long time. And again, I'm learning more about it. But in my position, I just think that we should structure it differently. I think it's a little confusing to the new person coming in, and I don't think they should be misled. If they're going to pass a state board and they should just be getting the sanitation, let that be known. So when they know that they're getting that, then they can walk away. Because what they're getting in some of the state boards, some of the schools are fantastic at the information that they're giving them, and it's worth every penny. But some schools are maybe not letting them to believe that they're going to get this and they're going to be a nail technician when they walk away going, I didn't learn any nails. Now I have to learn from, where I can find somebody teaching me, or YouTube, but YouTube doesn't give, all the information. Sure, I'm giving information, but I'm not doing a course, let's per se. I'm not saying course 1. I want to do that, but I haven't done that yet. I'm just showing how little tips in a 5-10 minute video. You can't learn how to do nails as a completion. You can certainly pick up some tips, and I'm sure a lot of the information I've given is a lot of those tips that you could fill in to equivalent at least a half a course. But so I just think there should be a different way that we need to structure that, so that when the person is coming in, they have the knowledge of what they are exactly getting. Where in Canada here, we have to, in most of the provinces, we answer to the client. It's a client beware situation. So if you are good at what you do, your nails don't come off, that discerning client is seeking you out. So the client really does decide who they are going to, which of course, if you're not that great, you can't make that money, and then you just will kind of get out of the business because you can't pay your bills. So just a natural process. Whereas I really like the idea of non-licensing, because to me, I don't want to have a license that somebody else got a license that they're not any good. But if I've got a license and I've gone through all my training, what I have done so far, and they sort of taken sort of a sanitary thing, or they haven't done anything at all, and they've got some sort of license and they're not very good. Someone just gave them a license and I have a license. Now we look like we're the same.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's misleading from the client's point of view. It's like, well, she's good, so she must be good over there because they got a license too. She got the same license on the wall she's got.
Right.
So I come from a position where my government here said, we're not, forget it. We're not doing it. And I was terrified when they took away the license because I was here in 85 fighting for that license.
Right.
And then 10 years later, they took it away and I was devastated because I thought, oh my goodness, we are going to have a problem. And it turned out no problem. In fact, it was better for us. When they first took it away, I thought, this is mayhem. First of all, I knew that the icky ones won't get the license, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to apply for it. I'm going to get it. But those bad ones that have been in trouble, people complaining about for a long time, they're not going to get it. But then we all did our tests. They got the license that I got. So the government said, no, they're just as good as you. And so the problem wasn't resolved. So then 10 years later, I think it was even less, they took it away. And I thought it would be mayhem again, but no, it was better because then the client was left to their own devices to find out who was going to earn my nail dollars. So the clients decide, and we have some killer nail techs in this in Canada, and we don't have license through most of it. So I'm not saying we just do away with any education. I'm not saying we should do away with rules and regulations, and I'm not saying we should do away with any sanitation or proper learning. I think that there's a better way we can do that. So I'd like to dissect that and look at it a little. I know that ruffles a lot of people's feathers when you say that. I think we should kind of do away with licensing, and I think this is why. But I've learned through that, I have to explain myself a little bit better and maybe come up with a little bit more of a solution. And after talking to some people about it, there is some things we can do about that. So hopefully we can do that. But yeah, there is. So it really comes down to what I like about that is if you just learn your sanitation, then you are left to your own accord, and rather than the government appointing a nail technician to teach you, because it is a lot to do with style and different styles, you can go seek who you want. So I can seek Suzie. I can seek Asia, and I like Asia's style. So I want to learn from her and her technique and the way she does it and ever how her approach is to clients. That's what I want to learn. And I think that should be an open choice to do that. And once you get sanitation down and the nails diseases, that's what they want us to know. And yes, there is that we should know. We need to know how to clean the situation that we're looking at and know what nails to work on and what nails not to. But I think we should have the freedom to be able to learn from whomever we like the style of, because it is different. We all have our own little styles. That's why we all survive on YouTube and make our YouTube viewers happy, because we all have a different style that we bring to the table. My clientele were very happy to come to me, and that person on YouTube's clientele is very happy to go to them. And they might not want to switch because they just like us. And they might give it a try. And then, oh yeah, I'll go to them when Suzie's on holiday. But they were great. But I just, it's just like people, just like you like one person and you sort of grow up and you go out in the world and you're like, oh, there's lots of people around here, but I like that one in particular. I'm going to hang around with that one a little bit more. It's no different. Yeah. And I think we should be able to have that choice. But there's some great technicians everywhere. I can't really say who has the better nail technicians. I think we have an abundance of amazing nail technicians across North America.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely totally agree. Now, I wanted to ask, in pertaining to nails, nail care, and skincare. So how important, because you've been in the industry for 30 years, taking care of, nails, you have videos of showing how to take care of your nails and how to form a structure. So how important is prepping the nails? Like how important is nail care in general before you get started, putting on a structure of a nail or gel polish or any type of polish? Like how important is that?
Yeah. I didn't learn how important that was until probably 10 years into my career, because when we learned, there was no traditional way of learning. I learned from this little girl behind the desk, and she opened up her salon, and she learned when she was 16 and she was 24 when she hired me, and she didn't learn conventionally either, which through a nail course or anything like that. So I was trained on, you just show up, you buff the nail, you buff the crap out of the nail, you put this primer stuff on it, you stick the product on there, you sculpt a shape on there, you do your best to make it look pretty, and you paint a color on there, and off you go. That's the way I learned. We never paid much mind to the health of the nail. We didn't learn any of that. Mind you, anybody coming in didn't have any issues with the nails. I mean, common sense, I would think, if I had somebody who was inflamed. In fact, I did have somebody show up. I think it was within the first few months of my career, a woman came into the salon and she wanted to get acrylic nails done, and she had the greenies on almost every finger. Well, I'd never seen that before. All I knew is I looked at that and went, I've never seen that before. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but I don't really feel comfortable working on this nail. So I conferred with my boss and we decided to decline the client. And when that cleared up, so that's how I got into it. So it was only years later I sort of learned backwards. So a client would come in, I'd buff the crap out of the nail, put the product on, and or she'd come to me from another salon and she's having problems. So I could see that, oh, this nail wasn't prepared properly. So then I learned the importance of prepping the nail. Oh yeah, when the tech did it, she didn't put that. You put that liquidy stuff on before you put the powder liquid stuff on. Oh, they didn't put anything like that. So somebody forgot the primer. Then I learned the importance of primer. Then I learned if a nail breaks off and you rip it off and you file it down too far, why the new nail doesn't stick. Because if you ruin the foundation of the nail, the health of the natural nail, it's not going to be healthy and it's going to be very, very weak. And the nail's not going to stick very well. It's going to break quicker. So then I learned nails should be healthy. So everything I kind of learned was kind of backwards. I'm not saying that that's the way to learn. I'm just saying when I got into it, we just didn't take it from ground zero, the health of the natural nail. So I learned, I also learned, how come? So a client would come in and she'd have a hangnail and I'd be like, why does she have a hangnail? When was the last time I've ever seen a hangnail? So then I sort of looked at my own nails. I'm like, yeah, that's right. When I was a kid, I used to get hangnails. Why don't I get hangnails anymore? So then I learned I hated natural nail manicures. I hated to do them. I just felt I was ripping the client off. I just felt it was a service they could do themselves. Then over the years, when I started to get more into being a better owner and offering more salon services, I offered the natural nail manicure. Some of the girls that worked for me, estheticians and stuff, wanted to offer natural nail manicures. And so I thought, okay, well, it's just like cooking. I can go out and buy food that's already prepared for me. Right. And I can cook it myself. It might not taste as good as, but what I'm saying, I can make a hamburger and I can go buy one. Just because you can buy one doesn't mean you can't do it yourself, but it means that I don't want to do it myself. So I learned that in my mind. It's like, hey, don't be such an idiot, Suzie. A client's coming in to have a manicure done because they don't want it. Of course they could do it themselves, but they don't want to. It's like I can color my own hair, but I don't want to. I have to do it now because I'm not going to my salon as much, but I don't want to. So I've really learned the value of the service and just letting the client enjoy it. Maybe she's got children and she wants to get away and she wants to enjoy that process. So we offered natural nail manicures. And then I learned during a natural nail manicure, they push the cuticle back. Oh, is that something you really have to do? Or is that just something to make yourself look busy? Well, I found out you really have to do that because cleaning the surface of the natural nail bed and getting rid of that organic matter is crucially important to the product sticking, whether it's nail polish or fake nail you're putting on there. When we used to attack the nail, mid 80s when I first learned, we just took that mandrel. So I didn't realize, but what I was doing was I'm pushing back the cuticle and removing that organic matter, the cuticle that's on the nail at the same time. But I didn't know I was doing that until I learned years later, when you do a natural manicure, you push back the cuticle, you get rid of that organic matter. And then I learned, that's what my mandrel's doing when I go around the cuticle, right? So that's how I learned the importance. And in some ways, I think maybe I've given it more credibility in my own mind because I know what happens if you don't remove that cuticle properly. I know what happens if you don't push it back properly. I know what happens if you don't put primer on. I know what happens if you treat that natural nail terribly. It's going to pop. So I kind of, like I say, I learned backwards. But for me, it worked very well. And I didn't have any other choice, but that's the way I learned. But I kind of like that. It probably works better with my brain anyway, because I learned to do it. I just did it because I wasn't focused on the natural nail. Other than it being, healthy. If it wasn't healthy, I didn't want to work on it, but I really didn't focus on the natural. That was not my concern. My goal was to get to that liquid to powder and putting it on and then sculpting it and then finishing the surface and then painting that gloss to go over top and getting that elegance and making that person's maybe stubby little hand look so long and elegant. How could I take that before and after? That's what I cared about. I didn't really care about the natural nail so much in that fashion. But you have to care about it because depending on how this begins, how this ends up, that they do go together. So I learned years later the importance of taking care of your natural nails. Yeah. So like I say, it was all backwards for me. But yes, the importance of taking care of that natural nail makes the acrylic last longer, adhere better, So if you don't take care of it, and obviously you don't want to work on a natural nail that's not healthy. You really got to start from a good, happy, healthy point.
Hmm. Right. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. What
hmm
products would you recommend, like for someone who wants to take care of their nails or their cuticles?
What product did you say would I recommend to take care of your cuticles and nails?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what you said. I, again, because I haven't really explored the whole vast natural nail area as in products go, but without getting into now, I know IBX, I've heard a lot of good things that they have some really great nail treatments for particular nails that have some issues.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if they're covering up issues, which could be fine, or if it's actually repairing. I don't know if you can really repair until it grows out. That's what repairs it really is, just replacing the whole thing. Like your hair, once your hair is damaged, you can protect it with conditioner and hot oil treatments maybe, but cutting it off and letting it grow out again is really the best way to just replace it with new nail. So I don't know about all those, and so I'm not going to say anything negative about it because I am not really qualified to do that. But I've seen some things on Facebook and stuff that's like, wow, that looks cool. I really should check into that. But I think the most important thing about your natural nail is you want to not file the surface area too thin, condition it with a good hydrating oil because it makes it more flexible if a nail gets kind of dry, depending on where you live or the temperature at the time. It's just like chapped lips or dry skin. It's really no different. You just want to be able to maybe file them so they're on the shorter side, or maybe not file the sides too much so that they don't get weak. Little things like that you can do. But obviously, the health of the natural nail also tells us what's happening inside our bodies too. If you have, blue or, green, greeny growing on there, a lot of indications can help us understand that. So I think when we start with a good, healthy, happy nail, it is truly important. And the best way to get that is not necessarily maybe a name brand product, but filing your nails with a fine file. Do not use a coarse file to file those natural nails, keeping them on the shorter side and protecting them from the elements. And also too, like, pop cans, let's say, or seat belts, or scraping and using your nails as a tools. Obviously, all those things do come into play of how you treat your natural nails, just like our skin.
Hmm.
But I think and also what can make the skin feel nice is exfoliating the skin and hydrating again with a lotion, but probably internally too, just a good diet. It's an old-fashioned corny line, just a good diet and drinking water. But so I can't really think of any specific brands. I think just your favorite lotion, your favorite hydrating oil, and a nice gentle file to keep the nail short, and filing one way when you're doing natural nails, not seesawing back and forth, right? Just how you care for the natural nail, I think, is much, much more important.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah,
there's so many great products out there to do that.
yeah, actually, there's so many like good products that you can use. Good lotions out there that can help moisturize your skin. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And also too, how
Yeah.
you speak about the diet. How you take care of your
Mhm.
skin and nails and your overall health is based on your diet. So if you eat like fruits,
I'm still looking to read something than what chocolate chip cookies do for us. I'm sure that they do something good for us somewhere. Maybe they give us long nails. I don't know.
yeah,
I wish. But yeah, you're right. Obviously, I mean, it is true. I grew up in the 60s and we didn't know this, but you are what you eat. It is true.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask about your YouTube channel. Like, what made you decide to teach nails? Because your YouTube channel is Nail Career Education. So, what
Yeah.
made you decide to start teaching nails to a lot of people, like to on YouTube?
Yeah. I fell into it, to be totally honest with you, Asia. I had in this room particular, I have a house where we had a lot of rooms I was teaching, but I've been teaching pretty much 33 years, about maybe a year or two, maybe three into it, so maybe 30 years I've been teaching. And some was just one-on-one. Most of it was just one-on-one. But then about 10 years back, maybe 12 years, I actually turned this into a little room where I had about 6 tables in here and I was teaching. And it's in my house. And I was raising my kids at the time. Salons were done with me. I was just teaching and doing nails in my house at the time. But my kids were getting a little bit older. And then I thought, maybe it's time that I open up a salon. So I decided to open up a salon to have a bigger space and a more professional looking space so I could teach nails. And that was the goal. I really just opened it up to have a nice professional space to teach nails. That's the complete reason why I opened it up. But I was only teaching about 2 or 3 nights a week. And I only held about 4 or 5 classes a year. So during the day, the salon would be closed. So I thought, you know what? I really need to hire girls or technicians, mostly girls. I don't want to exclude men. If I had men come, I would be more than happy to interview them. But mostly you end up with mostly predominant women. And I thought it'd be great to have nail technicians working in the salon. And then I just go in at night and I do my job of teaching. So I could have happy girls working in the salon, doing the nails. And again, I love the salon atmosphere. So I opened up the salon, and then my husband works in television. He's been working in television for 40 years, film and television. He's done a few movies and stuff, and he's been doing a lot of documentaries and stuff. So he said to me, I asked him, actually, when you get a second, would you mind making a little video for me? Because people are coming to my house and they're interviewing with me. They like me, they like my style, but the atmosphere is not so great. But if I could get a video that they could look at somewhere, like on probably my website, they could look at it and, hey, hon, I think we got a package. So they could just look at it, and then they would probably sign up with me, and they wouldn't even have to come for the interview and walk through the house, and it would just be more professional. So my husband said, yeah, okay, when I get some time, I'll be able to do that for you. So he had some time, and he made me a couple of videos. And it's not his profession per se. Sound is his profession. Music is his profession. But he got into video editing about few years before that. And he started doing some stuff for National Geographic and Discovery Channel. So he's obviously very good at it. So I knew it would be easy for him. So in this room, I had all my nail tables set up here, and then we would move them all aside, and we would set up the lighting and 3 or 4 cameras, whatever he felt was necessary. And I would my job was to figure out what to teach the camera in about 5 to 8 minutes, and he would edit it down. And then we would put it up on my website, and then they could see my calm, relaxed, because I really do think when you're learning, it should be really chill, even in your jammies. If you came to my class in your jammies, I really wouldn't care. Whatever you're comfortable in, and you can bring your tea or your coffee, and if you have to have a smoke, you just go out for a smoke, because I don't smoke. And it just be kind of chill. I wanted to convey that. I wanted to have a nice, relaxing way to convey that, and also giving it education without a judgmental tone to it. Because one of the competitions that I had locally, I heard rumor that she was kind of mean sometimes. So I thought, okay, well, I need to take this, Suzie nice thing to a level where people can feel it. So I was really excited to do it. So we did the video, and I don't really care to be on camera, to be totally honest with you. It's not something I really wanted to do. So I was focused on the nail, and that's what it's about. And so I did my opposite hand, I believe, in the first video that we did. I just sort of did the liquid, because that's hard to do. You need a few tips on that. It's hard to do. So he did that video. I can't remember what the second one was. And then he said to me, well, if I put it on your website, I don't think anybody's going to see it. So he said, I'll put it up on YouTube. Now, to be honest with you, Asia, I think I tuned into YouTube once when I wanted to know how to cook a particular thing. That was the only time I ever looked at YouTube. I didn't know much about it, to be totally honest with you. And so he said, there was one time when my husband and I, we were doing music videos for our daughter, and we were putting it on her website. And I think he put it up on YouTube, a couple of those on YouTube. So that's my extent of YouTube knowledge. And he said, we'll put it up on YouTube. And I said, okay, whatever. I just need to know where I can tell them to go see it. And literally a year later, we had 10 million views.
Wow.
And I was just like, because 10 months in, I said to my husband, I've got enough videos now. I think we should just get rid of it. And he goes, well, I don't know. And I said, well, I'm answering the questions, but I can't help them. I feel helpless, like I'm frustrated because they're asking me, where do you get that product? Well, you have to be licensed to get most products. And most people were coming to me from America, messaging me and I was answering every question for the first few months. I literally answered every question, and it became so much I couldn't keep up with it. And I felt really helpless and frustrated that I couldn't help these people. And then my son said, Mom, by the end of the year, you're going to have 10 million views. And honestly, we just laughed, because it was about 100,000 at the time when he saw it in October, something like that. And then 3 or 4 months later, it had reached what he said. And then my husband, I said, well, still, I've got to, so what? I don't know what to do with it. And he says, well, I think you should just keep it going. And the reason why I complain about it too, because we had to set up cameras and we took them down. So it was a 3-hour setup. Then I would do the video, and we do 2 or 3 videos because we took all that time to set up, and I put makeup on. I don't usually wear makeup. I did when I was a kid, younger, but when you become an older mom, you generally don't do it as much when there's no one's around. Why would I wear it? But so I would have to get all ready.
Right.
So I just really thought, I've got enough now. But he said, no, let's just keep it going. And then people were inviting me to come here to teach or represent a product or show a product and how to work it. And we started to pick up a little traction and momentum there. And then when people started asking me to come in, then I started to realize, wait a second, I'm looking at this all wrong. I'm looking at this as the way the old model of how we promoted products or taught people how to do stuff. Maybe you can do this via YouTube. So then I reconfigured and rethought about it and reevaluated and looked into being a little bit more innovative and maybe thinking outside the box. And that's when I started, developing products and teaching all over. But now with COVID, I'm not being able to teach anywhere, which I really, really miss. I can't wait to get back teaching again. But I was really having fun doing that because I love the interaction of in person. So now we are trying to learn how we can translate that personal interaction via the camera. And we are releasing this year, not too long from now, some new ideas on how we can come together and teach in a very classroom way with the same level or almost the same. It's the same to us. Cameraman is not the same because he's a perfectionist, but the same level of quality that we are receiving on YouTube with the lighting and the angles and the music and everything that I can interact live. So we're in the works of releasing something to that effect now. So that's how I got into it. And honestly, had someone said to me, hey, you want to be on YouTube and, be the voice of part of the nail industry and become popular? And I went, no, I'm not your girl for that. But I'm not ungrateful for where it's gone. It's been just a fun ride. And I'm so happy to be in the position that I have so much experience with nails that I can be able to share because I'm not going to be here one day. So it'll be nice for me to pass on this information coming from customer service and structure and design. Because no matter how many different nail art ideas or products or things that we release out there, it still comes down to the basic how we structurally custom design that nail to the nail bed of the customer of what we have received from the customer. And each and every finger is different. Just because you have one customer, it's not all just one nail. Each and every finger is different. So what I am doing is I am teaching and still learning how to custom build a nail on each and every client because every client's hands tell a different story and each finger has a different job on that hand and each finger tells a different story. So I'm just want to relay that so we never lose track of the sculpted build of, and we got a lot of new innovative products. And so when I'm doing a video and I've got a new product like the poppets and the dual forms, which is the same, and the jelly tips and all that, those are fun. And I think those are great, but they still never measure up, in my opinion, as the formed, custom built nail by a skilled nail designer. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that some people don't know the difference. Some people would look at them and go, oh, they're the same. Mm-hmm. To an undiscerning person, yeah, and that's fine. You can wear them. Just like when I'm hungry, sometimes I go to McDonald's and scarf down a burger. But it's not going to be as nice or as fine as a, even a home cooked meal or a high end meal. It's not going to be as good, but it still fills me up. And I'm not in the mood to be even care about that. So there's all sorts of nails that we can choose from. And I think it's great that we have so many different products. So when I'm doing videos, I am showing something maybe I'm not accustomed to, but if I can't figure it out, but if I can show how to take a poppet and try to make it look, as fine as we can get it to look, without going through all those skills. And then there are my videos that are ready for people who are ready to do that, form and build and custom and learn it right down to the detail, So it really is nail career education is just giving information of knowledge on how to build any type of nail that you might be faced with, because it really comes down to all the same thing. The health of the natural nail, how you apply it, and the outcome of the structure of where you're putting your structure and stress points of how that nail looks natural on the finger. It really is, that's the basics of what we're trying to learn.